this man has been on various of entertainment media spectrums. He's been on CNN's Black in America. He's been on BET, CNN Money, and USA Today. I'm letting him introduce himself for you guys.
What's up? I'm AnthonyFrasier, tech entrepreneur. You know, here to celebrate being cool. That's it.
Celebrate being cool, huh?
That's it.
It's crazy you said that because my name Cool Kale. So
Yeah. This is your festival, man.
Yeah. We got
the cool, man.
Right. Already. So how did you get your start being in the technical field?
I would say just through video games, man. I was one of those kids that went to school and didn't do a thing. I don't know if we can curse. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I ain't do nothing, you know. I was just like in class, you know, cutting class to go play Street Fighter with a bunch of kids and stuff. So, you know, eventually, you know, that caught up to me, and I got, you know, horrible grades in school, and I was only able to go to like a community college.
Okay.
So I went there for about a year, but I wasn't feeling it because like classrooms didn't have no windows. It was like prison, man. So I was like,
what type of school?
I ain't gonna put them on blast, but, I just wasn't feeling it. So I dropped out, you know, and I ended up, you know, just starting a little website with a bunch of friends who just like playing games. So we was like, oh, let's just start a website up where we just talk about it all day. And eventually people just like what we started talking about, and it just got more popular to the point where, you know, we just started to really connect with the game industry on another level.
Okay.
And so that was like my first foray, I would say, into like tech in general. Even though it was just a journalism site, it was the fact that, you know, it was just a website and I was just able to live off of it, able to make money and just travel the world off of it. So it was just changing. It was mind blowing to me personally. So
How was that transition from going from you know, you started with the gaming? So how did the idea of tech from the gaming standpoint? What made you say, okay, I like video games and I can transfer this into the tech? Into a tech industry. Like
we were making money, but I wasn't making that much money, man. Okay. So I was like working during the day, and working during the night. I had the night shift, so I was working up to 3 a.m. And then during the day I was working on the website, and then I don't know, I think I seen something with Mark Zuckerberg. It was like, yo, like, you know, he building Facebook, he blowing up. Now this is like back in 2000, I would say 8.
Yeah, when Facebook first
it was like out. Facebook was only 4 years old at that time, so you gotta think about like this is before billionaire Mark, you know what I mean? And so I was just looking at the success. I was like, man, I need to learn how to code or something, man. Like build something real, like a real app. Like, and I just started researching and saw like these things called tech startups. I was like, what the hell is a tech startup? I thought I had one. No, I just had a website.
Oh yeah.
There's a difference, you know. Anybody can start a blog, but who can create like a web application? Who can create a mobile app or things of that nature? And I had no clue about how to do any of that stuff. And so I just hit the library, just, you know, studying like code to see if I could kind of like build something myself. I was helping a friend look for a job, and I ended up seeing like there was this tech startup in my own city, and they was looking for interns, and you know, they were looking for college interns. So I was like, look, I looked at my traffic from my website, I looked at the traffic from theirs, and their traffic was whack. So I didn't have a college degree, but I just came to them saying, look, man, I get more traffic than you, so hire me as an intern, you know, at least for a month. You ain't even got to pay me. Just let me help you get your traffic up. They hired me as an intern. Then after a month, they hired me full time. And so that's when I was like, all right, that's how I broke into the tech field.
Okay. And so you said that your mission is to inspire, motivate, and make people into better entrepreneurs. So expound on that.
Pretty much, you know, so as I've been doing this, basically like just being an entrepreneur in general, I always get questions from people like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And so I kind of just took on the role of being a teacher, I would say, you know, and just embraced it instead of just kind of fighting it, you know. And so I feel like, you know, the black community specifically, young black entrepreneurs can benefit from being more technically savvy. Right now, we the largest consumers and the largest users of pretty much all the social networks. If not Snapchat, we will be soon.
Right.
The biggest users of Twitter, and and Instagram. We're just pretty much the largest users, but yet we're not creating, right? Why aren't we the ones creating the Instagrams, the Twitters? Even if you're not technically savvy, like any other, any kind of business, there's so many different kinds of startups you can create. You don't have to be super technical, but we're not creating enough, and I feel like that's what we need to do in order to bring economic empowerment to our neighborhoods. And so if I can play my part in helping people help open people's eyes a little bit to the I would say the entrepreneurial culture, then I think I'm doing my part.
So what if everybody or the ones that you speak to, they're not tech savvy, but they have the idea of, I want to pursue entrepreneurship. I don't know what my lane is yet.
Yeah.
But so how would you tell a young person that has the entrepreneur, they may have that spirit, but they don't know how to tap into it? How can you direct them to figure out what their purpose is first before they even get into a specific lane?
Man, what are you passionate about? I think it starts right there. Some people, I talked to a young lady, she's like, I just like fashion. All right, well, if you like fashion, who's to say you can't start a fashion line? I know that's typical, but maybe you could throw your own spin on it that doesn't make it typical, that makes you stand out. Right. Maybe you do it for a certain cause. Like I remember reading about a founder. Have you guys heard of Tom Shoes?
No, I've heard. I haven't heard.
So it's this company named Tom Shoes where every time you buy a pair of shoes, they donate one to.
Okay.
So isn't that like that's different? It's a different spin. So he got all his press just off of that one. Like the shoes is regular. Like they're not like the most designer, but people buy them because they feel good. And so that's his spin on trying to be different to the marketplace. So what I would say is like, find out what you're passionate about, and then find a different spin, to put on it. One of my quotes that I use, especially with the ThePhatStartup, was "Don't reinvent the wheel, put rims on it."
And that's and watching the interview, that was one thing that had me like, okay, it makes sense. Everything isn't recreated. It's just about adding a specific everybody's niche.
Just your spin. That's it, man. Just put your spin on it, like and you're good to go.
So when you found out what your spin was, how did you escalate from there, from the video games to starting your own website to the internship to when did you say, okay, this is my time to start my own thing?
I would say, that job really, to me, like when I had that job, I told you before we got on air, I told you I was working at like Kmart overnight. And so, I guess one day, a stupid boss will inspire you, man. I'm kind of trying to censor myself, you know what I mean? But like, one day he was just real disrespectful, man. I was like, yo, why am I living like this? Like, why do I have to live like? I think I'm better than this. I think really.
I feel every time I clock in.
Word. Ain't nothing wrong with that feeling. The thing is, so how do you transmute that energy into something else? Like how do you use that energy to go home and be like, all right, like, what am I gonna, how am I gonna live my life from here? Even though I didn't go to school, I would never tell nobody not to go to school. Like, I just feel like the path I chose early, I made a few mistakes, and then I kind of corrected the path. But if you already in school, like, I would use this to your advantage to kind of like, what can I soak up from this experience to take me to the next level, instead of just thinking about a job. And if you're trying to get a job, it's cool too, but school can be pretty beneficial. Most of the entrepreneurs who are in Silicon Valley all went to Stanford, and so school is all about that network too. So while you're here, figure out the people that you around, y'all three in this room, who knows where y'all be in a few years, but keep the connection flowing, keep the networks flowing, and you never know what you can do with that.
You're not tuned to the plug of Audionet. It's your boy Cool Kill.
And I'm the realist Jay.
Make sure y'all call in 919-530-7449. We have AnthonyFrasier in the building. We'll be right back after this. We got Diddy and Memphis Bleak up next. All right, holla at us. We're back with our special guest, Mr. AnthonyFrasier. So we left off, various topics. But we're going to bring it back. You've been on BT, CNN, Black in America, USA Today. So how has it been?
How did that feel?
I ain't doing nothing nobody else can do. You know, sometimes, the press ain't really like, At first, you know, the CNN stuff was a little, you know, nerve-wracking, only because, you know, I'm just like a kid off the street, man. I ain't really trying to get cameras all in my face. I wasn't camera ready either. Like, so when you watch the show, you can go on iTunes, see me looking real dusty, you know, at Google sweating bullets. You know, I just wasn't really ready for a lot of that. But it's all good. Like, I just step into the moment.
Okay, and then so with the Congressional Black Caucus and TED as well, two big sources. How was that being TED as an innovative source? How was talking or speaking at the TED, I guess, conversation or discussion?
Yeah, so I did a TEDx talk, I think last year, or maybe the end of the year before. I'm not even sure when I did it, but it was cool. Like, it was another nerve-wracking thing. You know, I just got asked to do a TED talk about Black empowerment. So I did the whole TED talk around Black Wall Street. You know, and that was I was just happy to be able to kind of have a message like that and bring that to a stage that, you know, a lot of people aren't, you know, familiar with talking about topics like that. I just feel like it was leveling up. I know I'm a gamer, you know. I feel like, every time I do something like that, that's just, you know, I made it to the next level. That's all I say.
As A$AP Ferg said, you're on a new level.
That's all I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to bring people with me, man. So it ain't even about just me, you know. Can I bring everybody with me? That's all I'm about.
Okay. Being a serial entrepreneur, you know, you started creating a mobile app called ThePLUGG.
Yeah.
Tell people about ThePLUGG.
ThePLUGG was I don't know if anybody familiar with Foursquare here?
Yeah, I know Foursquare.
Yeah, so like when Foursquare first came out, you know, the art of checking in, like when you're at different locations. So I had an app that was like where you could check into a video game. So I had PlayStation connected to my joint, Xbox Live connected to my joint, you know, and so all you had to do was like scan the back of the box, and then everybody would know you was playing the game, and it was like a dope experience. The reason why I made it was because, you know, GameStop, when you buy a used game from GameStop, companies like Electronic Arts and, you know, Activision, they don't get any money from that. So I came to them saying like, hey, like, I got a way that, you know, we can encourage gamers to buy games new so that you won't have to lose money when GameStop sell them used. So if you bought a game within the first 10 days, you would get like incentives and things like that. So THQ was our first partner, and they had a game called Saints Row 6. And that was the game that we did the first partnership with. And it went real well, but, you know, they went bankrupt. THQ.
They did?
Yeah, THQ went bankrupt, and when they did, it was a wrap for me.
So from that being your start to having an award-winning gaming site called Coalition.
Yeah.
So what was Coalition?
Coalition came before ThePLUGG, you know, and Coalition was pretty much, you know, a site for Black gamers, man. And, you know, that's the way it started. You know, like I was saying, we had a little conversation off the air where we was talking about what does the average gamer look like to you.
Right.
And a lot of people think it's, you know, a Caucasian male, probably overweight, in the basement, cheese doodles all over the controllers,
right,
greasy, you know, just like, all right, well, that's not the way, you know, I grew up, you know, in the game industry and playing games. You know, my uncle had Zelda and all that, and so, you know, we played Tecmo Bowl and, you know, Madden, NBA Live 99 and all of that, and so I just wanted to make a site where we could talk about the experience from our point of view. You know, IGN wasn't covering that. GameSpot, all those other gaming sites, they just wasn't covering that. So Coalition was the answer to that.
Okay. All right. So throughout your journey, who are three innovative entrepreneurs that you look up to in trying to not try to build your brand based off what they done, but take what they lack, take it and build it as a strength to make your brand and what you do more progressive for you?
I would say, like, the first one is I don't know why he's been on my mind for a lot lately, but Tristan Walker. Okay. He has a company called Bevel.
I heard of Bevel.
Yeah, so he's been like, he was one of the mentors for the first time I was out there in Silicon Valley. Okay. And this is before Bevel even, you know, came about. You know, he had a fruitful career before that. You know, he was like working at Twitter, then he worked at Foursquare, then he worked at a venture capital firm out there called Andreessen Horowitz, which is like a really well-known venture capital firm. And so I just followed his career ever since I've been at home looking at him on a 13-inch monitor, you know, just looking at him like, and then so to be able to go out there and meet him and then, you know, get some words of wisdom and then just follow his career now to see where he's at now is kind of inspiring. So I watch his moves and kind of like, kind of use him as I would say a template for how I should be moving out here. And so I'm really proud of him. Another one is an entrepreneur named Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a Russian dude from Jersey originally. He came out with a book called Crush It, and then he came out with a book recently called Ask Gary V. He's just a really big social media guru, but he's built that into like a multi-million-dollar empire for himself. And so like he's on Snapchat heavy, you know, you can follow him, Gary V. That's why I kind of see most of his moves. I'm just like, you know, I'm binoculars, man, like what you doing, like what's that on the table, you know. I'm looking at everything this dude doing, you know, because he all about the hustle, he all about the grind. Yeah, he got millions of dollars, but he's still working like, you know, 20-hour days and stuff. I'm not telling anybody to do that, but I'm just saying like it's just inspiring to see. Yeah, like yo, you've made, because the thing is like somebody can make millions of dollars and feel like yo, I'm chilling, right? I feel like I would do that. You know what I mean? Before seeing him, like I made millions, I ain't doing nothing, you know. But to look at him and looking where he at and like, look, the grind don't stop. Like, you know, I gotta hustle. Now that I'm good for my life, let me make sure my kids is good. Then let me make sure my grandkids is good. Then let me make sure my great grandkids is good. So I think entrepreneurship should be more about yourself. You know, I think to think about yourself is selfish. You should be thinking about generational wealth. And so until you get to that point, you should keep going. Another one is, I would say, Les Brown. He's not necessarily a super entrepreneur, but he's like a motivational speaker. He's like the only black motivational speaker who was really amongst a lot of those other guys who were out there back in the day. And so I just like watching his YouTube videos. I'll be watching him with the fro back in the 80s and the 70s. Like, go on YouTube. You can see a lot of his old videos. You know, he just, to me, what I kind of grabbed from him is his charisma. You know, he was able to, for me, at a time where he was getting the kind of money he was getting and speaking in the kind of places he was speaking in places where it was all white rooms. And we talking about the 70s. We talking about the 80s when that was like, it's kind of hard to get money, you know, for a black man at that time, you know, especially when you there to motivate. They like motivate me, like, you know, a room full of white people in the 80s, like, me. Exactly, like, but he was able to do that, and for me, I think that speaks a lot on, you know, his charisma and the way he spoke and the way he was able to command your attention. So I like to study, you know, moves of him.
And what was a couple of mental blocks that you state that you've overcame, either in the entrepreneur side or just life? Everybody I know, as far as entrepreneurs, there's a lot of mental blocks that we overcome, trying to make sure it looks correct, or you know, does it appeal to my standards? And because as entrepreneurs, we want to make sure it looks perfect. Like this is the best product for right now that I can give to the public. You know? So what was a couple of those mental blocks for you going through your journeys from the website to the app?
Word. I'm glad you asked that question, man, because I just gave you a book. Called
you did.
Down Your Greatness.
Transition.
And in that book, I talk all about my mental blocks, actually, you know, and I talk about how I could overcome them. I think when people become entrepreneurs, they think about the product, but the number one product is yourself. You know, and a lot of people don't think about how you need to start developing yourself. Personal development is rarely talked about in the entrepreneurship field, especially amongst African Americans. And so learning how to set proper goals, you know, learning how to deal with criticism. Not everybody's a hater, you know, but how do you deal with haters, right? You know, for me personally, my biggest roadblock was I was just a shy individual, man. I just, you know, I was just always laid back, cool, not really coming out my shell, and so that kind of kept me from a lot of opportunities, I think, early on in my career. And so I just talk about a lot of that in that book, about how I was able to overcome that and doing things like TED, right? So for me, you know, if the opportunity doesn't scare me, then it's not big enough. And so if you do something that where you're frightened, then you should just step down on the gas even harder.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, then that's how you know you made it to the next level.
Right. And so the book, Don't Dumb Down Your Greatness.
Yeah.
Is definitely what. And so this just came out, or this book?
Yeah, last month, man. I just
Okay.
dropped it, self-published it. Talking to a few publishers to get it on the, take it to the next level. But I just wanted to put something out there for young, for you.
Mm-hmm.
When I wrote this, I was thinking about the people in this room,
Right.
and like, what can I tell you guys, to help you on whatever you're struggling with when you're trying to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's not a business book. So
Right.
if you open it looking for the business tips, you ain't gonna find it. That's another book. I'll drop that later. But this is all about, and honestly, you might not even need that if you read this, because this is just giving you like the foundation. I feel like every entrepreneur needs a foundation. Like where do you build a house from? And before you build a house, you need to build a foundation. And so that's what I'm trying to give to you.
And I think that's where it was a book I read about a couple of summers ago called "Do You." By Russell Simmons.
Okay.
And so it wasn't a "this is how I made it" book. It was basically saying do what you already done, but in doing you, these are some of the things that that you look out for.
Yeah.
It was also
I
another
gotta pick
one.
that up.
It's another book he did after Do You. I forgot the name of it, but I know the Russell Simmons book I need to read next is Success Through Stillness.
Yeah,
That's the last one he did, off the trilogy he did.
So he understands.
Yeah.
I talk about meditation in this book.
Okay.
I talk about how, it's not like, a lot of people, when you talk about meditation, people think about these monks and sitting down Indian style or something like that. Don't even think about that. You know what I mean? Just think about like, meditation is simply like, if you wake up in the morning, you just write 10 things down that you want in your life. That's a form of meditation. If you just take 5 minutes out the morning just to think about like, forgiving somebody or just think about the future. That's meditation, So people meditate when they don't even know they meditate, because I'm pretty sure you guys think about the future late night, anytime on the bus, on the train, wherever, But my thing is like, but meditation is the art of being intentional with it now.
Okay.
Instead of just, out of nowhere, like, no, I'm going to intentionally set aside some time to think about these things.
Right.
So that way I could bring that forth in my life. And so he understands, and look how successful he is, right?
Yeah. So will you be talking about this book? You're actually speaking this weekend at the Art of Cool. Where are you speaking at this weekend?
The Art of Cool, Innovate Your Cool, which is like a break-off session from the actual festival, where they're just going to talk about business and entrepreneurship and tech startups and all types of just cool, innovative stuff. And so, I'll be speaking there, talking a little bit about my story, so you guys might hear some of the same, but you might hear some new stuff too. But everybody there gets a copy of my book, actually.
Okay. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I was gonna ask, was you talking about the book?
I'm gonna definitely talk about it. I'm talking about the book everywhere, man.
You definitely gotta get it out there.
And you can go to Amazon.com. If you're listening right now, it's on BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
Okay, all right. Any new projects you coming out with in the near future? Or?
I've just started as an entrepreneur in residence at a venture capital firm in Newark called Newark Venture Partners, and so. I'm looking forward to basically doing more to help, I would say, get young black entrepreneurs funded, especially the ones that's out there really killing it and really making something that's, I would say, very innovative. And so I'm going to be working, putting my footprint, seeing what I can do to introduce a lot of those overlooked entrepreneurs to the firm, but also just doing a lot for my city in Newark. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, for anybody listening.
Let me make sure I'm straight before you leave up out of here.
It can't be that bad up here.
I mean, we got a reputation, man.
Last time I was in Newark,
Jersey,
it was cold.
I bet, man. I don't have my experience, born and raised, man.
Yeah.
So, I seen a lot, man. And so I'm grateful, man, for where I'm at now, because honestly, like, a lot of people don't make it out.
So how was being from Newark?
Yeah.
First off, being from Newark and being interested in gaming, as it's far left from what Newark has to offer to become to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How has Newark helped train you or helped build you for this journey that you're going as far as entrepreneurship?
Perspective, man. Perspective, man. I think it's the the best gift you can ever have. You know, because I know what the bottom looked like. I slept on project floors. You know what I mean? Like, I've done those things. I've seen, the worst of the worst. I've seen, I've seen murders. I've seen, I've seen gangs happen in action. I've seen drug deals happen. I've had family members involved with a lot of those things, right? Or victims of those things, right? And so I think just having that perspective, man, I just saw life a lot differently from a lot of the people who was in the room with me at Google or at the Accelerator in Silicon Valley or even today at the venture capital for anywhere. Like, I just feel like that perspective gives me the energy I need to keep going, definitely.
But does that keep you being in these different environments? Does it keep your senses even more keen to, especially at a place like Google? I would think that if somebody sees that you pose an idea, and somebody in the room may see that you're not able, or may perceive that you're not able to get that idea to that level that you want to be, and they take it and run with it, and it comes.
That's inspiration, man.
Yeah.
I don't let that stop me. That's been happening all my life. Okay. I think the best thing you could do is, and that's what I talk about in this book too, man. I think the best thing you could do is do something without somebody's help. Because once that's when they start messing with you. Word. Well, that's when they start messing with you. When you show somebody that you can do this without their help, that's when they're going to knock at your door. It's a young lady named Sheena Allen. She's from Mississippi. Good friend of mine. She built the app. She built the app company called Sheena Allen Apps. Black girl, man. Over 5 million downloads. Nobody's help.
So what is her app? What is her app?
She got several of them.
Oh wow! Oh, so she's an app. Oh, she builds apps.
Empire.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She builds apps.
Yeah, she builds apps. She don't know how to code. I talk about it in this book too. She don't know how to code. She was just in the mall with a friend. Say, yo, I wish somebody can, help solve this problem. She went at home, used Microsoft Word, used the blocks to create what the app would look like. She didn't know a developer, so she Googled finding the developer online. She saved up some money, hired a developer to create that first app with her. Boom. Now she an entrepreneur full time, doing her thing, traveling the country. She about to be featured on a documentary that's gonna be on Netflix soon. She doing her thing. Now people knocking at her door. So it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna sit up here and say this is gonna be ice cream. You're gonna get it. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. As long as it's worth it, that's all you need to know.
Okay. All right. Well, you got anything? We get about here? You're not tuned to the Plug Audionet. It's your boy Cool Kill. We have Mr. Frasier, Anthony Frasier. Tech. Make sure y'all stay tuned. We will be definitely speaking at Innovator Cool at the Art of Cool speaking, I guess, series. Cool, speaking.
They can catch me at AnthonyFrasier.com too.
Okay. Oh yeah, about to say, let them know they can find you at. Social media?
Yeah, Anthony Frasier, AnthonyFrasier. So you follow me. That's my Instagram name. That's my Twitter name. Facebook, website, everything. So just find me.
All right. We'll be right back after this. It's your boy Cool Kale.
And I'm the realest Jay.
She the realest. We'll be right back after this.
What's up? This is Anthony Frasier. You're now rocking with Cool Kel and the realest Jay. Listening to The Plug on Audionet.